Today on our show on What the Hell Did We Just Watch, we speak about the upcoming movie called Logan and what that means to the X-Men cinematic universe. All this and more on What the Hell Did We Just Watch? Welcome to another episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? I'm your host, Loumotional Lou, and I'm here again to bring back the segment called Real Talk Rant. Now, with Real Talk Rant, if you don't know what this is, just to jog your memory, it's a segment that we speak about film politics and, directions of where films are going and, whether we like them or hate them or despise them or can't stand them or we fucking love them. That is what this show is about, the Real Talk Rant. We get to just know what the hell is on people's minds that are on the show. But today, I'm actually writing solo because, not because I feel I'm the only one that feels about this in my group, but, there's some people that feel the same way about it. There's some people that, that are totally indifferent to what I say and they don't agree, because, that's just the way it is. It's your own opinion. It's about how that goes. Without further ado, this is the Real Talk Rant of Logan and some stuff about the X-Men franchise. First off, let me just talk about the trailers that came out. The first one was that kind of like mini trailer and everything like that. I liked it. It's a cover from the song by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. He sang that song first. He wrote that song, and Johnny Cash covered it and did an amazing cover to it. As a matter of fact, it's a great cover. So the trailer, that I did like it. I thought it was really cool. It was set up in terms of a trailer. I thought it was really cool. The bad is, well, you know what? Let me speak about the second trailer, which is the Red Band trailer. That trailer was okay for me. It's standard. It did really show cool stuff. I like the violence. Whatever. It's, it did its purpose for people to be ready to go see it. That's for sure. With this trailer, the second one, you see that this girl, X-23, which is what we're calling her, since she has no real name in the movie so far. But we all know who she is. We know that she's X-23. All we know is that Professor X has been asked Wolverine, Logan, if he can take care of this girl who is very much like him a lot of ways. He first refuses from what we see, and then I guess he kind of just falls into having to accept to do it. That's pretty much what the trailer shows us. That's, and some other potential spoilers, but we don't need to get into that because we're not going to talk about spoilers. One thing that I do want to say is that I am not excited to go see this film. I'm not happy at all with the direction that they went. Pretty much, I've had it with the X-Men franchise, with Fox's X-Men franchise. Whether they want to keep it or not, that's up to them, but they don't know what they're doing, and I'm going to get into reasons about that, in a bit, but I just think it's a very sour franchise. I don't think there's any more juice in this left. I think that this film Logan, they're running on fumes, regardless of how cool things look and the fact that it's rated R and all this and that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't. The thing with the rate. Let me just talk about the rated R thing and why I don't understand why people are going so nuts about the fact that it's rated R. Like they've had a rated R Wolverine ever. On film anyway, and the stories that, from comic books and the cartoons and all that, they're not as rated R as you think, though there are some kind of like graphic novels that that show these kind of graphic things going on and all that stuff. But for the most part, that's not, I don't understand why that's what people are looking for. I'm looking for a good movie. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for blood and guts and all that stuff. That stuff doesn't do anything for me. And also, two things. Just because Deadpool was rated R doesn't mean, and we're successful, does not mean that Logan will get the same treatment. Just because it's rated R doesn't mean shit. Okay? So that's a bad movie is a bad movie. I don't give a shit, rated R or not. So that's the part that trying to get off my chest. One of the parts, the fact that it's rated R don't mean shit. And I need people to just realize that. You need to get that out of your head. I don't understand why you think that because it's a rated R movie that's going to be amazing. Another thing was kind of like an inside joke in the film. X-23 has an X-Men comic. I guess the world in that film has made comics about the X-Men. And then the fact that he says, Wolverine says, Logan, he says, oh, we got ourselves an X-Men fan. And he's like thumbing through the book and he says, oh, about 25% about this is true. The rest is, kind of a blur or probably didn't happen. And I kind of laughed inside when I heard that joke because I was like, that's exactly how I feel about the X-Men franchise in this timeline of all the films that they've done. I think they got about 25% of things that they've done correct, and the rest is just plain garbage and jargon and made up crap that's not even any good quality to keep. That's exactly how I feel about what they've done in the entire franchise. After X3, The Last Stand, that trailer, I went to go see it in the theaters, and I saw the major disappointment that film was. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I was even done with comic book films for about 4 or 5 years. I was like, I can't see anymore. After Iron Man, I was like, I'm done. I'm just so done. So I took like a little hiatus about how comic book movies are made because I was already seeing the drought that it was starting to come. And that was after the first Iron Man, where they just made another, movie. Yeah, it was good and all that, but it was still too early to determine the direction that they were going to go on how they wanted to tell that story, and it ended up working in their favor because I came back to the comic book movies when Captain America, the First Avenger was being released. So I said, you know what, let's give this a try, and there was, words going around about them making an Avengers movie and how all these movies are going to tie into it. And I was like, you know what, let me give that, let me just jump on. I'm glad I did because I'm enjoying myself, but I wish I could say the same thing for the X-Men universe. The reason why I think that they're not going so well for me is because of the accuracy that they go. I think that they're targeting less and less and less the X-Men stories that it actually has. And I think that they're trying to be more original with it, but it's falling in their face. They're not doing what they're not doing what people want to see, and they're not even being creative in giving us anything original that's worth seeing, that we can actually let pass and us agree with it. So it's falling. And ever since Apocalypse, I said, oh, I've had it with this franchise. They had one of the best trailers of last year, and I was super hyped. It was edited so well. It was orchestrated excellently. The music was great. You really had this sense of like, suspense and thrill, and you're like, wow, I can't wait to actually experience that. And then when you go see it, it's not even close. Not even close. They didn't even use the music that was even used in that film, in that trailer, I should say, to even build up on suspense. The scenes that they showed in the film when they were there, the scenes were great, but they lack some emotional heft to it. They don't realize that, they literally took the trailer and literally did a comic book version of Apocalypse. And then when they released the movie, they made a movie version of what Apocalypse is. And meaning by movie version, it's the fakest version that they could possibly make, and no wonder that franchise is losing. They've been in the loss since after X3. X3 is their most successful film. Just put it like that, and look at all the movies they made after, and none of them are able to even equal the amount of money that equal or even beat the amount of money that X3 made. And it's the worst one in the franchise. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. That's one of my my queefs with it. Like, I can't stand that, how they do this. And I just think that Logan is a good trailer with a bad movie. I've said it, I will let you know why I think that as well, again. And all I got to say is this. This is my main one. Track record. And what I mean by track record? the X-Men franchise is not a great franchise. It's like a solid C. That's what that is. They have like literally three great movies in there. Out of all the movies they've ever done. 17 years worth of movies, and all they got is 3 good movies. You know, and that was the first X-Men, X2, and Days of Future Past. I'm sorry, 4 great movies. I'll give you First Class, but it's just nobody really remembers that one. But I do like First Class. I really, really do. So it's 4 good movies out of all the movies they've done in 17 years. You know what I mean? You got X3, terrible. X-Men Origins, terrible. The Wolverine is like on the fence. I'm okay with it, but it's not the greatest fucking thing. And then you got X-Men Apocalypse, which is like another one. It's on the fence, but it's mostly more hated. You know, it's not really on the fence. Most people really don't like it. So technically they're 4 for 4. So they're 50-50. But that's, to me, that's a bad track record if you have a long franchise. You know, can you honestly say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is 50-50? No. Maybe they're in the 80s. You know, in terms of all the films they've made, about 80%, 85%, you know, approval rating out of the whole entire franchise that they've made. And they've been out for almost as long as the X-Men franchise has. You know, so what's your excuse, Fox? Come on. You know, that's track record right there. Fox does not know what to do. They're trying to capitalize on a very old method of making these movies. They think that if they keep doing it like X1 and X2, that they're going to get something good out of it, but it's not working. And the reason why it's not working is because look what everybody else is doing. Look what Marvel's doing, and also, believe it or not, look what DC is doing. They're doing these very comic book accurate stories, comic book accurate scenes and moments, and the way that their characters are and everything like that. And what are we getting? We're getting, you know, X-Men characters that don't even dress up in outfits. We're getting X-Men that is, every movie is another X-Men. You know, it's a different group almost every time. There's not a solid team. There's not a solid anything. They're jumping all over the place. I'm not lost about what's going on, but I also know that it's just all over the place. I can actually agree with people that it is all over the place. There's no real structure. They're trying to find a place where they can do something and try to stick with it, but it's not working, you know? So my predictions for this film is that it's going to be terrible. Will it make money? Probably. But I also don't think that it's going to beat any of the X-Men films that are out. I don't think it's going to beat... I know it's not going to be X3. I don't think it's going to be Days of Future Past. Maybe Apocalypse, because it didn't really make that much money. So maybe that. But I don't think that when it comes to an actual film, outside of how much money it made, I don't think it's going to be a good one at all. I think it's going to be a terrible movie. I think it's going to be a huge letdown, you know, and, you know, that's just the way that it is. I will go see this film, not day one. I will go see it out of word of mouth and probably see it 2 or 3 weeks later, if the word of mouth is good. But if it's not, I'm going to just wait and watch it eventually, you know, like I do certain films, and probably don't even watch them at all, you know. So hopefully it doesn't land on that motion, you know. And, you know, I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I also I'm not going to just predicting that it's a bad film, but I can also tell you that the trailer has a lot that turns me off, you know, about how they do things. And, you know, one of the things that is like one of my gripes that I can't stand is, believe it or not, and like people don't really see this, but you're being fed the same exact movie, The Wolverine. That's the exact same movie that they made. You got Wolverine Logan, who was being asked to take care of a woman, and he is poisoned and doesn't have his powers. Logan is about how he is asked to take care of a little girl. In his age, he is losing his powers. They change a little bit, but it's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking movie. And like, when I saw that trailer, I was like, wow, how dare they? How can Fox and the director James Mangold, who's a co-writer, if not the writer, can actually give us the exact same movie? And that's kind of like, dude, that's all you got? That's all you fucking got. And I don't give a shit that the girl can defend herself because she's a mutant. That doesn't change it. The fact that you gave us the same movie, because that's exactly what you did. The Wolverine, he has to take care of a woman. In this movie, Logan, he has to take care of a little girl, keep her safe and all that shit from people that want her dead. Both movies are about that. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's just plain stupid. Another reason why I predict total failure for this film is because of the lack of communication between actor and director, and like in terms of like what kind of a movie this is. Is it a part of the universe? Is it not a part of the universe? People ask that because, like I said, the franchise is not a great franchise to to go by, to say, hey, this is something like that. If the franchise was a great franchise, they wouldn't even ask. They don't ask that from Marvel. They don't ask that from DC. Is this movie a part of the universe? Is that movie a part of the universe? They know they all are. But with the X-Men one, it's kind of like, is Deadpool a part of the universe? Is Logan a part of the universe? Is the Wolverine's movies a part of the universe? Yes, they all were. Except for Deadpool. That's the only one that's not. But they came out and said that it wasn't before. And the sequels that come out after that are not going to be a part of the universe, because they already changed so much. It's like the people are not realizing what they did that was different. Colossus does not look like Colossus from the X-Men universe. That's somebody else. That's somebody different. It's somebody bigger, somebody with a Russian accent. And in the franchise film, he's not huge like that, and he doesn't have an accent. So that right there already takes it away. And what I mean by the miscommunications, it was like, because the director, James Mangold, he said that the film takes place 5 years after the corrected future of Days of Future Past. Okay. Everybody, I read that. I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. And this was before a trailer came out. And then like after the trailers came out, everybody's like, oh, wow, look at that. Whatever. Somewhere like around a week ago or so, Hugh Jackman came out and he said, oh, this movie does not take place as part of the universe. And everybody's like, what? James Mangold said that it was. And James Mangold had to take it to Twitter. He had to say everybody like, oh, yo, this movie that. It is a part of the universe. It takes place 5 years later. You're misquoting what Hugh Jackman said. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what this franchise is all about. It's just being misquoted. It's just 17 years of misquoted movies. That's what the fuck it is. Not to mention is that one question that I have is, why are people so excited to see this movie? Like they haven't been shitted on already. Like, are these the same fans that, what X-Men movies are you weighing this on, that you're predicting that this movie is going to be amazing? This is the third Wolverine solo film that we're getting. The track record of the Wolverine series is not a good one. I don't know anyone. And, maybe when it came out that were apologetic about it. But the Wolverine is a trashy ass movie. It's so bad that I don't even own it in my cinematic universe of all X-Men films. I own every single one, even X3. But Wolverine Origins, I do not. It's just so bad. And I even own the Wolverine, which, like I said, I'm okay with it. It has some issues. I do like it. It's not great, but it is better than Wolverine Origins. It's better than Apocalypse. It's better than X3 by a lot. So, there you go. But I don't put it on the 4 because I know it's more not liked than it's with the Wolverine. I'm going with more personal opinion, like my feelings about it. But it lacks a lot of inaccuracies and a lot of like bullshit, that the X-Men franchise just don't do shit about, But the Wolverine also, like X-Men Origins Wolverine, it was not well received. A lot of people didn't like it. It did get a better rating on the tomato meter and all that stuff. But for the most part, it was the same shit. That's that's just the way that they saw it. So after that, what's the track record? Why are people so excited to see Logan? They're just seeing some blades come out of his hands and him making an angry face. Don't mean shit. I know it's his last film. Again, don't mean shit. It's not, that reputation is not that good to be like, oh yeah, it's great. I can't wait. But I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of people that I have not heard anybody say, oh, I can't wait. And when people are predicting about great movies this year in 2017, believe it or not, Logan is not on anyone's top whatever. from what I hear, the people that I watch or the people that I listen to and all that stuff, so that goes to show you that people are always or have been on the fence about the X-Men franchise for a very long time. That's pretty much, all I got when it comes to my prediction of what Logan will be, so why don't I just take a little bit of time and just tell you what I believe the X-Men franchise should, in the ways towards. Now, if Fox wants to jump in and be a little smarter, and go the way that Marvel is going and the direction that DC is going in terms of what they're doing, like I said, what you think about the movies, that's your opinion. And, I'm not talking about good movies, bad movies. I'm talking about quality of the character, quality of the story direction, what kind of franchise it should start being. Because I think that whether Fox keeps it or Marvel buys it, if they let them have it, which is not going to happen, they need to start again. They need to do a brand new franchise. This 17 years of holding on to these characters, the same exact characters, is outdated. It's done. It's dried. Okay? It's a dry well. Stop trying to look for water under the dirt. The X-Men franchise is dead. The business-wise is dead. You see the money go down. It has not gone up. So I don't care what anybody says. Like, oh, well, Hugh Jackman this. Stop. Okay? That does not mean shit. Okay? Look at the business. The business of that franchise has gone down since X3. It has not turned a profit. It has not made any real foot ground. And that nobody's talking about this franchise anymore. And we need the people to do it. You want to create and and succeed in the X-Men business where everybody else is thriving and you guys are just like bleh. You know what I mean? Just staying there, just like letting it just drown. That's basically what you're doing. You threw it in the water and you're just staring at it drown. I don't care. Like, people, they think that they're just gonna ride on this money because Hugh Jackman this and Hugh Jackman that. It doesn't matter. They gave the guy that made the Wolverine another shot to make another Wolverine film. Good for him. But it's a bad track record. He made the only good solo Wolverine movie, but it was only one of two. It's not like he has this amazing track record either. He's only made one movie in the entire franchise, and they think that he's going to save them. Or Fox thinks that he's going to save their franchise. He's not going to. Sorry, it's just going to end up the exact same way. Now, I want to get this right here, right now, on what I think that the X-Men should, X-Men franchise should be and start being. They need to take a break, cut it off after Logan, stop making more movies. They are supposed to make one more movie, but if I were them, I'd cancel that, take a 5-year hiatus, okay, and start from the ground up a brand new franchise that's more of a comical sense, that takes a lot more source material from the comic books, and we're gonna just go ahead and just bring these suits back. Okay, make suits again, make outfits, because the ones that they're making, it's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna put these on, these flight suits, and that's our X-Men suits. No, that's not that. We're gonna make an actual, all these characters will get actual outfits. Okay, everybody gets one, and also we're going to stick to having a team. Okay, a set team, that team that will be built in the first film and then carry over to the second film, and then after that is when we could start switching things around, but not OD where everybody is going to be not a part of the group. You know what I mean? So it's like where maybe someone gets killed off and they got to replace that person, or someone leaves and they got to replace that person, but they need to chill the fuck out, because, they have X-Men just like literally dropping like flies and moving over here and not coming back and quitting. And it's just like too many, too fast, and it just doesn't work. So we established a brand new franchise that takes place in New York, in a dystopia New York, a nice cinematic, fresh New York City that is not a real New York City. It's a X-Men universe, New York City, you know what I mean, with maybe like a little bit like the cartoon where it's kind of futuristic, you know what I mean. I want to see Sentinels in the city walking around, you know, looking for mutants and all that shit, you know what I mean. That's what I want. That's what the people I think want. I think that's what we're ready for. And the reason why is because, like I'm saying, look at what Marvel is doing. They're giving us almost exactly what the comic book characters look like, and they're building these kind of original stories in there, but they're giving us, you know, when we see these characters on screen, it's them. It's really them. And the same thing goes for DC. You see that Superman is Superman, Batman is Batman, Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn. We have been happy with mostly everybody that's been on screen in the DC universe. Whether you like the movies or not, that's up to you. But you can't say that the characters that they have portrayed, that it's not them. Every person I know has been very happy and you know, with the way that these characters have been portrayed on screen. I don't know anyone that doesn't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't know anyone that doesn't like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think they don the outfits the exact way that they're meant to own those outfits and things like that. You know, Wonder Woman looks amazing. Everybody knows that, whether you like Batman versus Superman or not. Everybody knows her entrance is one of like top 10 greatest surprise entrances of all time and all that shit in action films or just films in general. So, you know, there you go. So who's happy with anybody in the X-Men franchise other than Logan, who never wears this outfit? He never really portrays being Wolverine. Sometimes when he talks, it sounds like more of an Easter egg than it does actual normal talking as Wolverine character. Look at that, you know? So I think it's time that we refresh, say goodbye to everybody, get some, you know, early to mid 20s character, you know, actors, and start building a franchise way up. Because the thing is that if you got to get them young so they can portray these characters for a long time, you know, that they don't look old and all that stuff, you know. And then obviously get Wolverine to be in his early 30s or late 20s, so that way he can look a little older than everybody else. But basically what I'm saying is that you get these people, you make them X-Men, they become X-Men, and they fight evil. But like the comic books, everybody's got their outfit in some way modernized, shape, or form, but not off from what they are. It's time that we get Cyclops to have that blue outfit with like that crisscross fucking like thing around his chest, and, you know, the visor and all that stuff. It's time. You know, that's what we're looking for. It's that time that we need to do that. You know, we need to have these sci-fi, you know, moments where, you know, the plane is being flown and, you know, they jump and do all these crazy cool things. We need that now. We need that kind of a franchise. You know, I'm done with the whole quote unquote realistic version of the X-Men franchise. That was fine in 2000. That's it. You know, that's 17 years of the same kind of movie, you know. And the second that Iron Man came out, it changed everything. Okay. It even changed the way that they should make Batman, because the Dark Knight franchise, though, was great, but it was inaccurate in terms of the way Batman is and all that stuff, and the world building of Batman. There's not much world building in that Batman. You know what I mean? So the way that they got Batman now is going to work out for them for the better. Okay. You know, I cannot wait to see Batman fight Deathstroke. You know, he already was up against Doomsday, and just seeing Batman in front of Doomsday is great. So I'm looking forward to Batman being in front of Grundy, being in front of this new Joker, believe it or not. I can't wait for him to see all these supernatural characters come to life and him having to stop him, like Clayface and things like that. Like, I want to see that, you know what I mean? We wouldn't have gotten that in the Dark Knight trilogy because it's too real. So I think that quote unquote real is done for now anyway. And while we're doing the franchise, we need to go sci-fi, man. These comic books need to go in the direction of science fiction, like the way that they're really written on paper. You know what I mean? So give that a try, man. Like, just be done with it, X-Men. Just be done with these. And I hope that, you know, after Logan, that they see that. You know, I want Hugh Jackman to just hang up his belt, which he is. He already said that he is. So then what do you got after this? This X-Men franchise, what do you have after this? You don't have shit. You know, you don't have, if you don't have an X-Men without a Wolverine, because this franchise has grown so dependent on him that they got nothing else. They don't know how to use anybody else. But if you ask people that are X-Men fans, Wolverine is not the only fucking person that is people's favorite character, man. There's Cyclops and Storm and Psylocke, and, you know, proper usage of these characters. Like, you know, people like Jubilee, and yet her character has been meaningless again and again and again and again. So she's never really properly used ever, and she's been changed like 4 times. So it's like, who's Jubilee? She's been literally, Jubilee has been in every movie in almost every era of the fucking franchise, and she's a teenager. So explain that shit. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. This just plot holes and convenient bullshit changes and all that stuff that people look for in continuity, and they don't get it. And when you don't get that, like me, I don't get satisfied. I start complaining and I start bitching. I get Loumotional. That's just the way it is, you know. So deal with it, you know. So in conclusion, chill out with these brand new movies. Stop making, after Logan, stop making more movies. Stop planning it. Continue, build on your Legion. See if that rolls. I'm gonna watch it. See what that, you know, a serialized thing. They also confirmed a brand new X-Men TV show, but it has, trust me when I tell you, I'm pretty sure it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that has very little to do with the actual X-Men, and more on, you know, something else that has nothing to do with the X-Men franchise. It would have been cool if it was an X-Men show. How about this? You know, if I would have done it, the X-Men TV show, it would have been taking place with students that are going to school inside the School of the Gifted. That would be a good fucking show. But something tells me that's not what it's going to be about. It would have been a cool fucking school show between students inside. That would have been fucking cool. But like I said, I think I've talked way too much about these movies. And I'm just spreading movie awareness. It's like I said, this show is about spreading movie awareness and talking way too much about these said movies, you know. And look how much I've talked about a fucking trailer, 2 trailers, as a matter of fact. You know, in my defense, with a 17-year history, you know, behind it. So, teach their own. Hey, it's like I said, you know, think about it. You know, I hope you enjoy Logan. I hope it is a good movie. I hope I'm wrong. You know, so. Let's see. If I do talk about it after the fact, that means I probably hate it. But this is probably the only time you're gonna probably hear me talk about Logan. I hope I'm wrong. You know, I am here to stay. So look out for further episodes if I talk about Logan. You know, but the X-Men franchise is dead in the water. Logan, after this film, good or bad, is dead in the water. That's it. You can't just change this guy. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. People are, you know, he's Tony Stark of the X-Men universe. You know what I mean? So, Fox, you know, be careful. So, without further ado, Loumotional Lou, it's been a pleasure. What the hell did we just watch? The Real Talk Rag segment. I just got one thing to say. Peace out, yo.